crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadbrew.com with your morning horn. Here's your sip of chaga coffee. We are getting into the winter months, so the regular flu will be coming out. Get your vitamin D up. Vitamin D, lots of vitamin D. As a matter of fact, here's something that I want to show private road members. Not private road, everybody. Everybody's health is very important. If you go to our affiliates page and click on that, a lot of this stuff is health related. Purple Power C60. If you go, and the Berkey filters to filter out all the chlorine in your water. Yes, there's chlorine in your water. Don't ask me why. Ask the government why. That lovely FDA. But if you go to our Amazon store, the first thing right there is the Spurdy sun lamp. And that is a sun lamp that mimics what's coming out of the sun, special bulbs to increase your vitamin D. During the winter months, that's why everybody gets sick, is because the lack of vitamin D in their body. That's why the flus happen in the winter. So please go there, buy one of these so that you have sunshine in the middle of the winter. Good idea, Bix. Thank you. All right. I was listening to Snippy and JC and Cliff High. Cliff made a brief appearance. It was great to hear from Cliffy and see the boys hanging out. But he was talking about the Australian bond, which is imploding. Australia is imploding altogether. Basically, Australia is the sacrifice country. Their bond yield is going completely out of whack. That is a big problem, and it's massive. It's the end game was always going to be the bond collapse and the derivative collapse. These days, it's completely synonymous because there's so many derivatives on bonds, sovereign bonds, like from countries like the U.S. debt and the Australian debt and all this stuff. And Australia's the first one. You can see the chart. Now, what could go wrong here? Bonds are supposed to be the most stable of all the investments, and we have this. This is a gigantic problem, and Cliff said it probably has to do with Evergrande. Cliff did say what I've been researching for a few days now is the Evergrande bond payments. Now, I knew that Evergrande would not make the payments to the U.S., but they were going to make the payments to the Chinese bonds because that's the Chinese holders, and that was my theory. And then last Friday, they came out and said, yeah, we made, well, the financial media came out and said, yeah, we made the payment. They did the same thing yesterday. Evergrande pays another bond on time, avoids default for now. You can tell by the language. Barron's is very specific. All these financial newspapers are very specific when they lie. They have to give themselves an out. So listen to the language. Embattled developer China Evergrande Group has made a key interest payment on an offshore bond before a Friday deadline, according to several media sources. And then they linked the media sources to that. And this is so that they don't have liability. Hey, Barron's, you said that they made their payment, but they didn't. So you hit the link, and it goes to the Wall Street Journal. Evergrande averts default by making a second late payment. Indebted developer pays, blah, blah, blah. China Evergrande avoided default for a second time by making an overdue interest payment on the dollar bonds shortly before the end of the 30-day grace period, comma, people familiar with the matter said. This is financial news speak for this gets me out of my liability because I was told to do this. I was told to lie. They did not make the payment. I don't believe they made the payment. Now, on a broader scope, it is easy for any financial entity to make a $47.5 million payment for the account of Evergrande. The question is, why aren't they doing it on time? And if it is true that Evergrande, the company, did not make this payment, then it gets down to, was the payment made? And number two, is who did it, who made the payment on their behalf. Because if they don't make the payment, it's not a $47.5 million problem. It sets off the derivatives associated with Evergrande, which is literally the monster in the room, the elephant in the china shop. The Barron's thing cracks me up because the first statement, they had a link, media reports, according to several media reports. And then even in the second line, the company made a $47.5 million payment to bondholders, according to several people with knowledge of the matter quoted in the reports. They had to double up because they know it's a freaking lie. If Evergrande defaults on $47 million, that puts all of their $304 billion in debt in default. That triggers the massive problem where they go into default, and all the banks that hold their debt and all the criminals that hold their debt have to declare, oh shit, we had $5 billion in Evergrande high yield debt that they were paying, and we're getting our 7-8%, but voila, it's gone. Poof, it's gone, which triggers another tsunami. So here, a customer of Road to Ruta, a Road to Ruta follower, sent this to me. It's from encouragingangels.org. Really good article on a tsunami of bankruptcies coming from the Far East. Former Fitch analyst confirms that Evergrande bankruptcy is evident. No proof the company made its interest payments as advertised. Sam, I'm going to butcher his name, Szymanski. Just say it fast and you don't screw up. Stan Szymanski, thank you, by the way, Stan, for sending me this. It was a great piece. Go check it out, encouragingangels.org. But he's been working on this stuff, and it is true. Coming out of the English press release out of Berlin, according to a press release, Dr. Metzer and co-authors Win and Dam, they, quote, demonstrate in detail in a report for the German market screening agency DMSA that international investors alone have put $23.67 billion into 23 bonds, and it talks about those bonds. And listen to who's on the hook. Among already known institutional investors are well-known addresses such as Fidelity, BlackRock, UBS, Ashmore, Prudential, HSBC, Pickett, Vontobel, BNP, and let's see, only at the time we are far from aware of all institutional investors, but only 148 investors with increased reporting obligations, such as fund companies who have invested a total of $3.4 billion are known. There are still some negative surprises here, said Dr. Metzger. But listen to this. As I relayed yesterday, investors cheered that Evergrande had reportedly made its past due $83.5 million interest payment. That's the one from last week, with 1 day left before Evergrande would be declared bankrupt by the rating agencies. Please read what the Metzger et al. Via news press release had to say about this. Quote, the bankruptcy of Evergrande itself, on the other hand, has probably already occurred. As of Monday morning, German time, no confirmation had been received, neither from Evergrande itself nor from the rating agencies on the ground, effective bond investors or banks involved. That overdue interest of $83.5 million had been paid at the end of last week, the last possible date of the 30-day grace period. So far, there are only unconfirmed press reports that the interest had been paid into these escrow accounts. However, it had not been received by the creditors. So they paid it into an escrow account. An escrow account just holds the money and can't do anything with it until it's instructed by Evergrande or by probably the Chinese government. So it's in the escrow accounts, but it was never paid. It missed the deadline. This would mean that the company would have gone bankrupt. Even if the interest had been paid this time, it would only be a postponement of insolvency, because from now on, it will be one blow after another. The next one, already in arrears, must be paid by November 10th. So this is an ongoing saga. One interest payment of $83 million or the $43 million one, they don't solve the $300 billion problem. Yes, big money with big things at stake could solve this by buying everything that Evergrande has at a highly inflated price. Any central bank can come in and pay off all of this by printing money. It can be solved. The question is, will it be solved? And it does not look like it's being allowed to be solved. Now, here's the other thing. This is what I was working on. And this is this dude, Hui Ka-yan. Chinese authorities have told, now this came out the day before they announced the payment. Chinese authorities have told Evergrande's billionaire founder to use his own money to pay down the company's $300 billion debt. The guy only has $7 billion, and most of it's $7.6 billion, but most of it's attached literally to the company. Wealth is only, you can be valued whatever you want until you try to sell it. And everyone's like, I don't want that shit. Why would I want anything related to Evergrande? But here's some more stuff. Evergrande pledges Hui Ka-yan's The Peak House to overpay an overdue $260 million bond. So something is going on. He had a $300 million house in, let's see, where is it? Somewhere in Asia, probably Hong Kong. Yep, in Hong Kong. And so they took the house and they put it in as a pledge to a loan. But what was done with that money? This is one of the things I explore with Jenny Moonstone in the reading we did yesterday. I'll be posting that on Private Road probably tomorrow, but maybe Monday. What happened? Did the owner, this is his money, it's his house, it's no longer part of Evergrande's assets, but did he pledge his house to pay off Evergrande's debt? And I explore that with Jenny. And I was expecting, that it's obvious, that links two things. She says, no, it's being used to cover up stuff. It's a con. And the trigger will be pulled at some point. Very interesting. Again, more reported news. Chairman's house used a $300 million Evergrande loan. And here's where they come to that. China's Evergrande pledged a house on the Peak, a Hong Kong, this is translated, Hong Kong held by the chairman Hui Ka-yan to China Construction Bank as collateral for a $300 million loan. Then it says, comma, because none of this is firsthand information. Data of the land's registry showed. So the guy, the main guy, he's on the hot seat. Jenny does a great reading of this guy too. So get on the Private Road for that one. Sorry. Hold on, I just woke up. All right. Silver's being held in abeyance. You must obey. You must obey. Yes. Oh my God, you crypto people, buy silver with your crypto earnings. Don't sell it all now. I think cryptos are going to go massively higher. In the long run, obviously, that's where you want to be. But in the short run, we're going to have, we haven't hit the point where it spikes and they slam it down 90%. They will do that. It has happened so many times in the past, I've lived through it. So unless you want to wait 3 or 4 years for it to come back, which it will, and it'll go up over that last high, you're going to want to sell at some point. I don't know when that point is. It could happen. It's not yet. That point is not yet. We need the blow-off high. Like when we went to 20,000 from, it like ran from 2,000 to 20,000 and then crashed back down to 3,000. We're going to get that run maybe to 100, maybe to 350. People are saying 350. As you get closer and closer to the high numbers that you said 2 or 3 years ago, people say, oh, well, no, it's not 100, it's 200. Not 200, it's 300, it's 350. But I do think we're going to get 100 by December for Bitcoin, which means all the altcoins will be running, which means there will be a frenzy. And when that frenzy comes, you need to start selling your cryptos. Unless you just want to hodl, because it will be in 3 or 4 years, it'll be long, hodling is a pain in the ass. You could try to, play the market. Snippy tried to do that with Theta and he doubled his money, but he was out of Theta and Theta had a huge run. And I think Theta is going much higher than its previous highs. I think Theta's going up to 25, $30 before the next slam down. Theta Fuel is going to run even higher. I think Theta Fuel will double Theta. I own both, about equal amounts of each, but there's lots of things coming for Theta Fuel. The Katy Perry show in December, and this glaringly ridiculous reality that none of the big UX exchanges offer Theta or Theta Fuel. The moment that happens, you're looking at a 10x move. So we could see ourselves on Theta moving up to $8.88. It's at $7.40 right now. My number by the end of the year is $88.88. And I made that prediction 2 years ago. No, not 2 years ago, about a year ago. I don't know if it'll come happen. It's what Spirit told me to say. $88.88 for all you psychic people. But I can give you the realization of why, and it's very simple. The amount of visibility of Theta and Theta Fuel during the Katy Perry concert, or any of the CAA, which is the entity that controls Katy Perry, any of their superstar, this is a talent agency, any of their superstar mega known people say, oh, we got to do the same thing as Katy Perry does. Holy shit. Everybody and their mother would be scrapping to find T-Fuel, and there's nowhere to find it in America, because for some reason it is being blocked by Coinbase, Kraken, and Gemini. I don't know the reason. My gut feeling is that the same gut feeling I've had since I did a 6-month analysis of Theta. It is going to be the number one cryptocurrency in the world, bar none. Much bigger than Bitcoin, much bigger than Ethereum. And there'll be links to Ethereum. They already are. I mean, they're interchangeable now, Theta and Ethereum. But obviously Theta is much cheaper to do any kind of transaction on than Ethereum. Is just completely ridiculous. You can't run NFTs without working off some other platform than Ethereum. And there are other platforms to do that. But why Ethereum? A good idea way before its time. Whereas Theta looked at that good idea, invented Theta and Theta Fuel for different purpose, for broadband expansion, for media sharing, digital media sharing. Theta has 100 different purposes. So I think if Theta will get on a run, it'll pass its old all-time high and get $25-$30 on this run. And then it'll go down again. I don't know what to. Maybe, who knows? I don't think it'll go down as bad as other cryptos, especially if they pull the plug on Tether. And I think it's part of the plan. It will be definitely a U.S. Run crash, this next crypto crash. But it'll be a U.S. run moonshot too, before the crash. You have to have the moonshot before the crash. And I think the moonshot is coming over the next couple months. So if you sell a little bit and sell your Theta and get some silver in your possession, that would be a smart move. You don't have to do all of it. I don't plan on selling all my cryptos just because I know a crash is coming. I want enough to ride out the crash. But you don't want to put them in cash either, because I think this next crash will be the biggest of all. Probably a 90%, 95% crash in Bitcoin, maybe 99% crash in Bitcoin if the old financial system implodes. But we won't really know the value of anything in that situation. Anyway, lots to say. I think between now and the end of the year, if Theta or T-Fuel gets put on an exchange, which I have a feeling it might, it will probably start with Coinbase, and then instantly it'll be Kraken and Gemini adding Theta and Theta Fuel, and the whole world has access to Theta and Theta Fuel. Nobody's going to want to sell at that point. That's why you get the 10x move instantly. It goes from $8.88 to $88.88. That is the Bix Weir prediction. That's the Ruda prediction for Theta. And then the percentage, which would be like 10x move, which means Theta Fuel, I think, will go to 10 to 1, which is a 20x move. So 20 times 35, let's say, times 4 would be $7, $8 T-Fuel by the end of the year if it gets added to the exchanges. That's the caveat, if it gets added to exchanges. If it doesn't get added to the U.S. exchanges, then you're looking at T-Fuel running up a lot more than Theta, I believe, because of what's going to go on with the Katy Perry concert that starts. This is the Katy Perry. She's already announced it, so don't get all excited. Katy Perry Vegas extravaganza for like 2 weeks or something. And she said she's part owner. It's interesting. She's part owner in Theta Labs. Believe that one. And I'm sure she owns Theta, and she got that from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said, "No, you never invest in crypto. It's just like not investing in a stock just because a stock can go up. Invest in the companies where you get a return because the company's doing something. Theta Labs is doing something. Even if Theta goes to very small amounts, Theta Labs will be still in there doing what it does as a content delivery network, as edge computing. There's a zillion things that Theta will do. There you go. There's your commercial. And yes, Katy Perry, that's the announcement back in June. Is it big? Is she deep state controlled? We talked about, Jenny and I talked about that this week as well. And it's interesting. It doesn't matter if she's deep state controlled. Of course she's controlled. Like all the artists out there who make it big, they're controlled by someone. And yes, she is absolutely controlled by someone. The question is she MK Ultra, or does she have full control of her faculties? It's an interesting answer that Jenny had. So make sure you check that out. Go to roadtoroota.com and sign up. So you go. Oh, by the way, go right now on YouTube. Please click subscribe. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. I know it's been a long haul. They keep taking away subscribers. I'll get to like 98,000, and then they take them away. So we've been stuck in the 90s for a long time. Click subscribe. Even if you did before, they take away subscribers. Click subscribe, please. And go to roadtoroota.com and get the free updates. On the left side, it's subscribe for free, and I will send you emails because when they kick me off YouTube, I need somewhere to get in touch with you, and you can stay up with all the Road to Roota information. Go to roadtoroota.com. And you can subscribe today at the top. And we're currently giving away 50 T-Fuel loaded on a paper wallet sent to your front door. If the T-Fuel goes on exchanges by the end of the year, these 50 T-Fuel, I think, will at least 10x, and it will pay for itself. There you go. That's how easy it is to join the Road to Roota private road. This is Bix Weir, roadtoroota.com.
Hang on tight, my friends. Theta Girl's on her way. I was searching for a token that would fly to the sky. Dump everything on her, let her take me so high. Well, she said her name was Theta, wanna go for a ride. All band expansion, always there by my side. She's my Theta girl, she really rocks my world. Go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. I said go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. Well, the 40X movie 2020 was fun. You ain't seen how high my little Theta can run. Coinbase will add 300 million or more. America will love her while they watch her press soar. She's my Theta girl, she really rocks my world. Go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. I said go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. Go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. Go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. You're my Theta girl, you really rock my world. Well, my wife got really jealous, I love Theta too much. She said, I know it sounds crazy, I'm missing your touch. You're gonna have to choose, it's either me or your coin. I'm sad to see her go, but look where Theta is gone. She's my Theta girl, she really rocks my world. Go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. I said go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. Go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. Go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. You're my Theta girl, you really rock my world. Go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. Well, I believe Sarasi $1,000 or more. Everybody watching Theta's hard partner galore. Samsung and Sony, Apple, Netflix, and more. Google and then YouTube, well, you watch it, press or it's my Theta girl. She really rocks my world. Go Theta, go Theta, go Theta, go. 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 You're my Theta girl.